Karen Dawn with Dawn Watch.
Great to
Hi.
see you, Karen. Hey, great to see you.
Hi.
Loving the show.
Thank you. And thanks for coming on with me. So I don't know. I saw a lot of animal stories this week, and I wasn't quite sure which one you were going to pick. What is on the top of your mind right now?
Well, there are so many, but today I wanted to talk about a situation that I'm very pleased to say was on the front page of the Los Angeles Times yesterday. And I'm so pleased about that because, as you know, what Dawn Watch, my organization, tries to do is to encourage the media to do a better job of covering animal issues so that people can make informed choices in line with their own values. I'm not telling people what they should think and how they should eat and what they should do, but asking people just to think about these issues. And it's a lot easier to do that if you've got the information. And the Los Angeles Times, I happen to be a little in love with that paper because it does so often include animals in the general discussion. And yesterday they were on the front page. And the story is so in line with something that Mark and I were talking about last week. And I think you were away last Monday, but we were talking about how the laws so often don't reflect how people generally feel about animals. And in particular, we were talking about the fact that during emergencies, immediately you see people fleeing their homes, not with their televisions and not even with their photograph albums, but with their animals. And then until recently, they would come up against laws that said they couldn't take their animals on the public transport. And that basically killed people who wouldn't leave them. So what we have this week to talk about that was on the cover of the Los Angeles Times yesterday is the situation in Catalina Island. I'm going to ask Tony if he doesn't mind sharing this. I sent him a photo of the article. Okay, I think he's sharing the link, but I had actually attached a photo of the article. It doesn't matter. I can just tell you.
Yeah,
it's here it is, a case of Bambi versus stupid plants. And I could have done without the headline, but the situation is that there are about 1,800 deer living on Catalina Island, who are beloved to the humans living there and beloved to the visitors. But the Catalina Conservancy is a nonprofit organization. And I always tell people, if you're going to donate to environmental nonprofits, make sure that they are animal-friendly environmental nonprofits, because the Catalina Conservancy is certainly putting the plants first. And they plan to gun down from helicopters, Sarah Palin style with the wolves. They plan to gun down the deer on this island because they are an environmental nuisance and that they're denuding the grassland. And this plan is not in line with how most people feel about the deer on Catalina Island. And there are major protests. And I sent a quote over that, Tony, I hope you can pull up, from this wonderful woman who's the spokesperson for the Humane Society on Catalina Island. And She I'm see if Tony has that quote right there. Here we go. I'm gonna put my glasses on so that I can read it out loud.
I think I can read it. I've never heard anyone say that the highlight of their trip to Catalina Island was seeing a plant no one has ever heard of. The mule deer have been on the island for nearly 100 years. Their gentle presence is an integral part of our island's appeal. Where is the dignity in slaughtering these innocent animals, which are so beloved by so many? And that is Diane Stone from the Catalina Island Humane Society. Yeah.
My kind of girl. Yeah. And she represents the thinking of a lot of the residents on this island. And then I sent over another quote I'll ask Tony to pull up, from a woman who actually used to be part of this conservancy that is deciding that they're going to gun down all these deer. And You know what, Kim? I'll get you to read her quote again, which starts there on the second line.
During a
From
recent Avalon City Council
yeah.
hearing, Leslie Bear Dinkle, who served on the Conservancy executive team for a decade, put it this way: "In the America I know, we, the people of a community, have the right to determine our own fate and that of a species that has been part of the community for more than 100 years." So clearly they want to save these deer. So is that the plan? Are they now saved, or is this still up for debate?
It's the plan at the moment is that these deer are going to be killed, and they're going to be killed from helicopters, and they're going to let their carcasses land where they lay because they're going to be too hard to cart off, and they're just going to leave them there rotting on the island. And that's because the power over Catalina Island is with this conservancy that is putting the plants first.
I guess
and obviously the deer are not pleased with this decision, but nor are the
people.
majority of the people there.
I guess the question is, why would they make this decision? Is Catalina Island completely overrun and packed with these deer? Is it a huge problem?
Well, it is a problem and I'm not. And first, I have to say, you know, I hope your thoughtful viewers and listeners will consider that whenever we have a situation where a species is destroying the environment,
right?
And we talk about, well, should we cull them? I hope people think of the irony of human beings thinking that we need to cull or just kill off another species because it's bad for the environment. Because there is no species on this planet that is worse for this planet than humans are. So yes, these deer probably aren't good for the Catalina environment overall, but does that mean, okay, we need to kill them all? No. I would suggest, and most people, and again, I'm not trying to tell other people how to think, but when you've got most people saying, what the heck? That was my edited version. Then you've got to come up with better solutions. So without a doubt, like one of the things that the article mentions, and people can look up this article in the Los Angeles Times, they can just Google Catalina deer, or maybe Tony will put it in the chat there because I sent it over. But they mentioned that the deer are denuding the grass, and then other grass grows up, which is not wildfire friendly, so that they're worried that there's going to be wildfires. And so I think, okay, if the deer is stripping grass and it's other grass is growing up, that is more dangerous. So in my front yard here, I was having a problem with a certain type of grass that was growing. So we killed that off and we planted something better. And I'm like, if we valued the life of these deer the way they value their own lives and the way that the people who've lived with them for 100 years on Catalina Island value their lives, then we would plant something better when they strip it. We would do something other than kill them. But that is always the answer. Let's kill them. Now, clearly there's too many of them. That's what contraception's for. And, you know, might it be expensive? Sure. Is it necessarily that easy? No. But if you've got a situation where they're tame, it can be awfully easy to provide the females with contraception. And I'm thinking right now of, I grew up in Australia, as some of you might have worked out by my accent. I used to go to a place called Pebbly Beach, not too far from Sydney. And our version of deer are kangaroos. And they're herbivores, and they're generally not, tame animals. But at Pebbly Beach, because it was a tourist spot and everybody loved the kangaroos, they would actually come up to you and you could hand feed them. They just knew humans were safe and you could hand feed the kangaroos there. Now, in general, we're told do not hand feed wildlife. And I'm not telling anybody, please go hand feed wildlife. The reason we're not supposed to hand feed wildlife is because they're always in danger of being shot. And if you make them tame, they'll come near people.
Yeah, we don't want them to like humans. It's bad for them to like us. Yeah.
Right. But that makes me sad because you have a situation like deer. They're not generally dangerous to people. And the fact that we have to protect them from us when most of us, grew up on Snow White and would really love as adults to have be able, we love animals. That's why we lock them up in prisons we call zoos, because we love being close to them. We love looking at them. And I think so many people would like to see a situation where these deer were so tame that we could hand feed them contraceptives. There is always a better way. And certainly we can put contraceptives on our rose bushes. There is a better way than just slaughtering these 1,800 or so deer that the human population adore, that the tourists adore. As Diane Stone said, people don't go to Catalina Island to look at the plants.
Yeah. Well, it's a story we'll be following, and to see whether they come up with some alternatives or whether they enact this plan to get rid of the deer in a manner that is really not palatable to people who love animals. But Karen, thank you for bringing the story to our attention today and letting people know about it. You're awesome.
Thank you for providing this platform to let people know about what's going on with animals in the world.
That is your website, Dawn Watch, where you have a newsletter where you talk about animal issues, animal rights, and the stories in the media that you think people ought to be aware of. So Dawn Watch, you can check that out and subscribe to that newsletter. Thank you, Karen, for being here. I'll see you again next Monday.
Lovely to see you.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.